Coming up on show 669, GM's electric Hummer. It's big, it's bold, it's back, and it's not belching fumes. Also talking price rises at Ionity's network. Renault officially confirming a new small city car. BMW converting one of their plants for EVs, and electric taxis going wireless charging. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're listening around the world. Welcome to EV News Daily, the edition for the end of the working week. Friday, 17th of January today. My name is Martyn Lee, going through every EV story and picking out the highlights to save you time. Well, thank you as always to myev.com for helping support this show. Not only are they busy making their website, but buying and connecting buyers and sellers, but also busy organising a big event in Miami called EVs and Tea, sponsored by Inside EVs, Evernex and more as well. It's happening at early Feb. Check out the website, evsandtea.com, if you want a little gathering, a meet-up. It's about the biggest EV event on the East Coast, I reckon. Maybe you fancy a road trip to drive to it. Let me know if you're planning to go. Well, Americans still love their big SUVs, even as they realise the gas guzzlers contribute to global warming, but what do? You go electric as quick as possible. And for many people, they still love the design of the Hummer. Of course, the Hummer came from the military vehicle, the Humvee. It was very much a 1990s thing, wasn't it? If you go back to the 1990s, it was the right truck at the right time, actually with the right regulations. Wasn't there a thing about the Hummer being over 3 tons or something? It did sort of like a payback on your taxes or something. If you got one, if maybe you know, then let me know what the deal was with that. But then there was like an incentive to buy Hummers as well. There was more than just the original one as well. But in all of the cases, the miles per gallon was woeful. 9 or even 10 miles per gallon on the diesel engine. However, with an electric powertrain, well, you're charging off the grid, and for many people from their solar panels as well. And according to Yahoo Finance, GM is going to bring back the Hummer in 2022, adding the monster truck to its GMC lineup. No gas, no diesel-powered versions, just purely all electric. Well, GM is supposedly running a Super Bowl ad with the NBA wizard LeBron James to announce the reincarnation. A radical battery-powered truck is going to demonstrate GM has something to show for all of their EV investments with the Volt and the Bolt. Something critics and buyers can get pretty fired up about. A zero-emissions Hummer will also solve a problem for potential buyers who love that big muscle car thing, but don't want to be ostracized for belching pollution. This isn't the 1990s. We do know better. Driving anything which does 9 miles per gallon as your personal transport is, we now know, a ridiculous waste of money and killing the planet. So, what to do? Put a big battery underneath. And of course, that's going to be very interesting because we know there's lots of competition coming up. We know the Rivian R1T, R1S is on the way. M-Byte are going to have an SUV, and of course many others. Got to mention, honourable mention for the Tesla Cybertruck here as well. Now, here is my totally ill-informed speculation. What do you think the reaction was in boardrooms around the world to the Cybertruck reveal? I mean, that got tens of millions of dollars of free publicity. You can even buy a t-shirt now. Tesla will even sell you a t-shirt with a cracked window on, poking fun at themselves for the window that smashed, the 2 windows that smashed on the side of the Cybertruck. Sense of humour being shown there and making a few bob for a bit of merchandise as well. However, in all seriousness, that must have really thrown the other car makers, the other vehicle makers as well. Like, they've known that Tesla has this charismatic leader, this way of communicating, this tribe of fans, like early days in Apple and all those kind of things. They know that. They're not daft, but the Cybertruck publicity was on a different level, wasn't it? Well, it's kind of convenient that a few weeks later, this headline grabber comes out. The Hummer is making a return. You know what? I think there'll be plenty of people as well. In all seriousness, I'm sure this wasn't just because of Cybertruck. In all seriousness, I think there will be people who would drive a Hummer but wouldn't drive an electric truck because, you know, they're bros, and they're not going to, be seen in an electric car because aren't electric cars all little milk floats and Nissan Leafs and Bolts and all those kind of things? Well, actually, put a big battery underneath a Hummer. And these guys that need to drive, guys and girls, particularly guys, that need to, what's the word? Compensate by driving a really big truck. I can't imagine what they're possibly compensating for, but these guys that need to feel more manly. I've gone on a tangent now. The website Fool.com says that besides the nameplate, GM will make the vehicle resemble the earlier Hummer, the original one, tapping strongly into the brand recognition and nostalgia. Specific Hummer models will include a pickup truck launched first, a large off-road capable SUV. Now, GM recently teamed up with LG to make a Giga Factory, a $2.3 billion electric Giga Factory in Ohio. According to GM's press releases, the facility will produce 30 gigawatt hours of cells and batteries eventually, enough to outfit hundreds of thousands of vehicles. In addition, GM's also putting $3 billion into renovating the Detroit Hamtramck. I can't even say it. Hamtramck? I don't know. For the express purpose of building pure electric trucks and SUVs. Big story, this, and it won't get us half as much, 10% of the publicity of Cybertruck, but I think there is a market for an electric Hummer. Not me personally, but looking past, I live in the wrong country for these big cars. We've got tiny roads, but there is a market, isn't there, for traditional-looking electric trucks, those that are still weirded out by Cybertruck. Okay, let's move on. Ionity is our version of Electrify America. In Europe, it's a pan-European ultra-fast charging network. Ionity has announced the end of this month, Jan 31st, it's changing its pricing structure from a flat fee of £8, €8. What was it? Eight. There was 3 8s. Anyway, €8 was the big one. £8. Maybe it's 80 Nook or something in Norway. It's going to change its pricing structure to a kilowatt hour one. It says inside EVs, the new price is 79 euro cents per kilowatt hour. That's 88 cents if you convert it to US dollars per kilowatt hour. That's for customers who don't have contracts. Those who do want a contract can pay a monthly fee and get a reduced amount, but those are the kind of people who have bought the VW Group cars. I think Porsche do one. I think maybe BMW are going to do a subscription as well. All the big German automakers are behind Ionity. From Teslarati, they note that it's a substantial premium if you compare it to Tesla's supercharging network, which in the US has a rate of about 28 cents. That's about 25 euro cents. It changes quite a lot actually over here, country to country, with local electricity prices. There can be some really cheap Tesla superchargers around. With the new pricing structure in place, though, if I had an Audi e-tron or if I had a Porsche Taycan, you could end up paying €80 to do 200 miles, or even less. €80 to fill up your tank. Maybe 70 to 80 euros to get a full charge, 0 to 100. And that is very, very expensive to do 180, 200 miles. Well, in that case, you go further for less on diesel. And I shouldn't be saying that, but it's true. So, what's behind this? Well, there is a lot of anger on Twitter towards Ionity. Ionity's chief has said that it wasn't a particularly contentious decision in the boardroom. Everyone agreed. There was no fights, no disagreement. Everyone thought it was a good idea. He says he's fully behind the idea. It's a way of supporting the network. On Twitter, of course, people have gone bonkers and said that they're never using the network again. I think there's a more nuanced take on that, in that the Ionity network becomes, at such a massively steep price, it becomes a distressed purchase. It becomes something that you have to do that you don't want to do. It becomes like filling up with petrol and diesel on the motorway. My local supermarket, last time I passed, was selling diesel for £1.25. The motorway service station that I pass on the M3 motorway in Hampshire quite regularly, sells the same thing for about £1.50. It's a huge premium on the price that I can get down the road. Because if you need it, if you're on the motorway, road trip, and that's the only one, you need it. You'll pay it. You'll pay the price. You don't want to, but you have to. And I think that's kind of where Ionity are thinking like a fossil fuel provider. As in, they're thinking like, well, we're putting our filling stations at motorway service stations, and so, you know, you pay a premium of petrol and diesel, you pay a premium for your electricity, and of course they're very quick, 350 kilowatts, so you're paying for good technology as well. But what if you can't use the speed, and what if you don't mind a 5-minute diversion to go and charge on a, say, like maybe one of the polar chargers that might be a couple of minutes away off the motorway, although theirs are in good locations, on 150 kilowatts. That's a lot cheaper. I don't know. I'm of two minds about this. You've seen people online today saying they want to kill the electric car. They don't want people using them. They're going to be covered in cobwebs, and that is obviously an overreaction. Personally, no, I wouldn't. I think EV drivers tend to plan their journeys more than ICE car drivers, and so you probably work out where you need to charge, and you know that if Ionity is going to cost you an arm and a leg, you're probably not going to use it. So who knows? Look, they're the experts, and ultimately, everyone can be apps as righteous as they want to be on social media. The group of car companies that, you know, they're putting in millions, maybe tens of millions, it is still small change to them. It's not, but it is. And so ultimately, you know, they're putting the money up. So complain, don't complain. You ain't paying for it. I'm not paying for it. So if they want to do that and price themselves out the market, we'll see where it goes. We'll see who uses them. I don't know. I'm not totally outraged by it. Just more pragmatic, really. Just like, okay, well, it's not for me. It'll be for somebody. Good luck to them. I don't think it's going to slow. I've seen people saying it's going to slow down the move to EVs. It won't. It won't at all. It has. Ionity aren't big enough, and it won't slow down in any way the move to EVs. They're just not that important in the grand scheme of things. Great network, but not crucial to the whole thing. So good luck to them. It may be a big success. Okay, let's move on. And from a Renault press release, I saw 2020 will mark a new stage in their electric offensive with the launch of, officially now announced, the Twingo ZE. Deployment of its new E-Tech hybrid and Renault plug-in hybrid offers. Well, Renault finally confirmed the launch of the Renault Twingo ZE for sometime this year, says Push EVs. Officially unveiled at the Geneva International Motor Show in March, I think that is, and there are some rumours the car is already being produced and seen on public roads with some spy shots as well. Renault had previously feared that the Twingo might cannibalise sales of the Renault Zoe, but now the new Renault Zoe can differentiate itself from a small, cheap little. If you don't know the kind of car that I'm talking about, think of a kind of Fiat Cinquecento size city car. Really, only good for 2 adults, 2 kids. It's a 4 or 5 seater, but a great little city car. The Zoe WLTP range of almost 400 kilometres. Pricing is, 20-something, late 20s as well. The Renault Twingo ZE is going to be fighting with the segment below. So the VW triplets, like the VW E-Up, there's the Skoda Citigo, what's the other one? And so it all depends where it falls on the price scale, because this is definitely a car that if they price it right, say 14, 15,000 with the battery owned outright, I think that could be very, very successful as a second car. People who want to put a second car in the driveway, or people who want just a car that they can do the school run in, or do their errands, go to the supermarket, do their chores in. As long as they get the price low, I don't think you've got to go bigger than anything like 28, 30, 32 kilowatt hours on the battery pack. Haven't got to worry about ultra fast charging. Haven't got to worry about, they could probably stick AC or like 22 kilowatt AC like they do on the Zoe. Even a CCS plug could be overkill if you're not going to be fast charging it. But we'll see what they come out with. BMW will be closing its main plant in Munich for 6 weeks this summer to convert it to produce the all-electric BMW i4. The EV is going to go into series production next year, with battery cells being brought in. However, it could change in the future, says Electrive. The i4 will roll off the production line with 3 and 4 Series BMWs. More than 1,000 robots in the body shop and assembly area will be converted to be flexible to the different drivetrains that are going through the factory production line. BMW purchasing their cells for the i4, by the way, from CATL and Samsung SDI. BMW do have their own battery cell research centre, but not actually making their own ones. And talking of investments, Ford announced a €42 million investment today into their Valencia manufacturing plant. That's in Spain, to support their hybrid electrification strategy. The battery assembly facility as well. There's going to be an S-Max hybrid, a Galaxy hybrid as well. 2 new assembly lines are going to be enabling for the lithium-ion batteries that will be powering the Cougar as well, and the S-Max and the Galaxy to be produced. There's going to be a plug-in hybrid Cougar and what Ford call it self-charging hybrid. I can't believe they've fallen for the most ridiculous slogan ever. But look, like the Ford Cougar plug-in hybrid has overall, on the WLTP test cycle, I think, overall emissions of 26 grams of CO2 per kilometre. It's still a lot. 26 grams of CO2 per kilometre. The Cougar hybrid, which they call self-charging, this magical technology, has CO2 emissions of 111 grams of CO2 per kilometre. Please, 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 if you're listening to this podcast as research and you're thinking of going not full EV but going for a hybrid of some kind, please buy one with a plug socket on the side and you'll do so many miles on electric only. These hybrids are old technology now. It's great for the Prius 20 years ago, but these soft hybrids, these so-called self-charging, no such thing. It's such old technology now. All the car companies that are doing this that are doing these hybrids are just trying to do it for emissions reasons, rinsing the technology to do it as an affordable way. But please buy a car with a plug socket on the side, even if it's a hybrid. You'll be so grateful that you did. Well, the UK Transport Secretary announced today that £3.4 million is going to be invested in a trial for wireless charging taxis in the city of Nottingham. Yes, Robin Hood. Wireless charging at taxi ranks could be a good alternative to plugs because when they are on the taxi rank or they're waiting for the next customer, they can be charging and just topping up without getting out of their car and actually tethering themselves to a charge point on the side of the road. Reduces clutter as well with fewer chargers. Installing wireless chargers at taxi ranks offers drivers the chance to recharge while waiting, and they can start their journeys quicker. The technology allows for shorter and more frequent bursts of charging, says the government press release. There's going to be 10 vehicles from Nissan and LEVC, the electric taxis, that will be fitted with wireless charging hardware for 6 months in the trial to see if it is a good idea. Seems to me like, wireless charging has a place. Yes, it's not a particularly onerous task to get out of your car and plug it in when you get home. But there may be use cases where wireless does work. And, modern wireless charging on EVs is even quicker than plugging in. Or at least it holds its own. It's the same charge speed. So those days of it being slow to charge on inductive charging, all gone now. Some of the new inductive charge stuff is like I say, even quicker than plugging in your Type 2 cable at home. So we'll see where it goes. I'll keep an eye on that. It's kind of interesting. Right, final story. Roadie is a new bit of technology that lets you view your Tesla cam and Sentry videos from your Tesla on your phone. Basically a Raspberry Pi Zero programmed by a chap called Jake. It stores, protects and makes the videos that the Tesla records them onto the Raspberry Pi, and then you can, with Tesla Cam or Sentry mode, watch them on your smartphone. You can save them or share them, says Inside EVs. Tesla erases the videos on their own technology after an hour or two to save space, but Roadie keeps them for longer. Handy solution for those who have an accident or didn't have time to deal with the video and it ends up getting lost, maybe a hit and run, something unexpected. After connecting Roadie to your Tesla, you check the videos on your smartphone as long as the car is turned on, either moving or with Sentry mode activated. Got to have a Wi-Fi connection to play back the videos as well on your phone. Right, question of the week then. And I'll read out your answers on Sunday. Which car company would you like to see doing more to embrace electrification? Which car company would you like to see doing more to embrace electrification? And tell me why. Email me, hello@evnewsdaily.com. Leave a comment on YouTube and socials. Thank you so much to 228 patrons of the show, 668 previous shows in the archive, and if you can possibly leave a review on Apple Podcasts, a couple of words, hasn't got to be War and Peace. A little rating and a review really helps other people find this show, and I'd be very, very grateful. In the meantime, come and say hi on socials by searching EV News Daily. Oh, by the way, thank you to my premium partners on Patreon. Phil Roberts of Electric Future, Brad Crosby, and of course, Avid Technology. Hey, right, I will catch you very soon for the next show. In the meantime, remember, there is no such thing as a self-charging hybrid.